All right, so moving on to the next part now, which is the group culture reporting, which is just simply the next page, page 37 to 44. This will come out for each group. So if a company wants...
group? Is
Say again?
This is the group...
This is the group report.
Group culture, which is the leadership group, or no?
Yeah, so the same, connected to the same group. So the first report is just for the leaders because it's got some private information in there for leadership. We don't want to disclose this to everybody. We want leaders to come with their skills to create culture connection. Not if their culture is less evolved, there can be a tendency to judge and blame and compete, and we don't want that in a culture. And
then the group culture is the kind of the team.
Group culture is the one to share with the entire team. So this come back from our clients to say, hey, we don't want to share all of this with the team. Help us separate the reports because we want to give the feedback to everyone every month. So this is the one that goes to the team. So their request was to hide, not everyone, but a few, and we want to cater to everyone's need, but a few of the leadership groups said, oh, we don't want the leaders' results published. That's going to make them feel judged. So, which I respect, but at the same time, I encourage them, like, if you're going to be judged, then you need to act to create shift, because there'll be a reason why some people are judging you. So be a source of judgment for inspiration, not for underperformance. Yeah. So again, it gives the same information, the purpose, the vision, the initiative for the UN sustainable goals, then their overview of their activity. So you can see in this month's activity, it's higher. Yeah, this is April 2020. They're up at 100% activity. The team trend again. Now this is the really interesting part. It gives you the leaders sending activity, the leaders receiving activity, the members sending activity, the members receiving activity. So these are all very powerful insights to understanding what's going on in the culture. Gives you the activity trend, which is what feeds this line here, and the overall team's effectiveness for the month versus the ideal. So have a look at the purple solid line is what the leaders have received, and what the leaders have sent is the orange line. So have a look what happens when leaders increase their activity to what happens in the team's activity. So there's a lagging factor, but when leaders acknowledge more, this is that 5 times impact that we're talking about, then the team members respond reciprocity.
Yeah.
How are you going there, Naz? It's late in your evening.
No, my headphone was off, but now I got it.
Okay, but your energy's still good?
Yeah. It's very, I was gonna say that so January was just so low, you can see how the trend just went up, by February and March.
Why do you think that might be?
I don't know, did you guys start it? No, you didn't start
holidays.
Christmas, spot on.
Christmas?
So for the large part of that month, the teams were apart. And then when the teams come back together, then they start adjusting and assimilating again, readjusting the cycle. Then they get in a rhythm, and then they start acknowledging again. It's also the reporting. While you're on holidays, you haven't got the report. We see with teams, as soon as we give them the report, bang, the activities go up because they know what they're focusing on. So the reporting's an important piece, which is why we charge for it. It helps them get clarity about what to do and where they're at with their culture.
No, this is great. This is very continuous, kind of approach and mindset. Yeah. So
it shows them the group's activity of the month, what the actual activity was, what the ideal activity is, what their effectiveness is compared to the target or the ideal, and then their rating. So this team's rating high this month. They're in the right zone now. Then it gives you clarity on the values that you've set versus the activity. You see here the green. The green is the aggregated acknowledgement of leaves by groups versus the aspiration that we set for our culture. Then it shows you your balance between performance and moral. So it aggregates all of the performance aspects versus the moral ones. The little P here tells you that you have a primary value set in that group. Yeah, so you can see what they are here. Determination, so that's in the courage group. Initiative, which is in the wisdom group, and compassion. Service, which is in the compassion group. So you see they've got P's on them. So it's looking for more activity in those areas, because that's what we're saying is our culture lead. The monthly activity report then breaks them down by the groups. So this one is the last 6 months of activity. Yeah, so it shows you your stability of the culture.
I'm just stepping away for one moment because the parcel's been delivered. I've been waiting for a month.
No worries. And this shows you the trend of your culture for the month, where you're heading. So you can see, you know, there was a lot of activity in love group, but historically it's been there. And in the compassion group, it's below where we'd like to be. And historically it's been there. Courage group is on target, and it's increased for this month. Self-discipline.
And did you get that target line, or target?
Yep.
Do you get that from the previous one, where you have, you know, culture, activity, and aspiration? Like aspiration is where you want to be.
Yeah. So when you set these in the app, that automatically creates this culture profile, we call.
Okay. So they want to just, you know, be a little bit like aspiration is a little bit more on the wisdom, but they're not there yet.
Aspiration is on par with the wisdom here. See, the green meets it. So they're aspiring to initiative, which is out of the wisdom group, and the green meets it. But here is the one for purposefulness. Might be the one that you're looking at, is it?
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yep. So purposefulness, what are we looking for? Oh yeah, it's one of the secondary ones, a sense of wonder, and it's not there. So we'll go through that in the activity. What are the strategies we can use to get to a congruent culture?
Okay.
So the way you look from month to month is like, okay, here's the trend of history, 6 months. Here's what's happening in the last month. Yeah, where are we heading? Because if I want to move the culture, I'll come together with the leader, say, right, guys, we want to move the culture in the area of purposefulness. The way we can do that is, let's do more initiatives around purposefulness. Let's call it out more in the team. Yeah, once you start spotting it in others, reciprocity kicks in, they start spotting it in each other. Or you can change the culture aspiration. You might say, oh, our natural strength is self-discipline. How does that look historically? Oh, self-discipline is always high. Is this a natural strength of our team that we want to move more towards? Yeah. So we have simplicity in there as a secondary, which is in the mindfulness group. So it's like, do we really need to pick something that's more in the self-discipline group for the strength of our team?
But you said a growth opportunity on the mindfulness, right?
Yep, correct. If we choose to hold on to that. So we've chosen simplicity, and it's part of mindfulness group.
Okay.
So this is a
Which
measure
we
of
need to work on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see that group this month is void. So there's no initiatives there at all. Yeah, you can see.
Okay.
Nothing's
So
shifted.
that's historically, and this is monthly.
Yeah. So monthly, I'll tell you the real scenario. So this is April, which was when COVID kicked in, and we stopped all of our meditation and our connection sessions around mindfulness to focus on setting new strategy and disciplines and innovation to try and come out of the challenge. So you can see the shift of energy shifted more onto the performance side. You can see it grow. And if you look at it historically, yeah, we were there pretty much before, but we went even further again in that.
Look how quickly you did actually manage the shift though.
Yeah, well, we didn't look to do it in a cultural way, but the report shows you what's going on. What we did was strategically shift, and we agreed to stop the mindfulness activities until we get the revenue back to target. Right now, we wanted all effort on innovation, so we stopped mindfulness activities. We lessened the connection activities, which is this layer here, and we chose to double down on self-discipline because we had to go working from home scenarios and increase our drive and commitment. And
it shows what a great organisation it is that your strategy can be implemented so quickly.
Exactly.
And people jump on board with that because they understand they're part of a team that's, you know, well formed and work, you know, really intrinsically linked.
Yeah. And there's no lying based on the interactions between the people. They will say what they see in each other, and they will see in each other what you inspire as the leader. All the character traits you've recruited. Yeah. If you're polarized by a team that is money driven around accomplishment, then you will be polarized by that unless you lead it in a different way. So then it gives you a top 5 contributors for the month, people that have expressed gratitude and appreciation, and those that have been acknowledged, culture in action. So you can call that out and thank them. Yeah, so this becomes part of your routines. Then it gives you the group strengths branch.
Oh, that's great.
So you know who for the month, so you can see who your up and coming people are to acknowledge, but also who historically is a strength in an area for your mentoring and coaching. And this is what will pop up on that, what I was showing you before on the app as well. Lastly, it tells you who's aligned to the 3 core initiatives of the culture directly most for the month, and who energetically is most aligned. So Jamie's both in this particular month, and he likes having his picture up there as well.
He's having a good time there.
we like stirring Jamie up. So here's the case study now. Are you guys okay to go over by about 15 minutes? Naz? Yep, okay. So what we're going to do now is go through this case study and answer the questions down here. The way we do it for the group assessment is we look by group. So, okay, start with purposefulness. How are we performing on purposefulness versus our aspiration?
We're above where we want it to go.
Above or below?
Is that right?
So the blue is the aspiration.
Oh, sorry. We're below.
We're below. Yeah. So purpose is below where we aspire it to be. And what's driving purpose is here, wonder. Yeah. So we haven't spent a lot of time dreaming in the organization. If you think about where we are in the cycle, maybe it's not the appropriate one to be picking. Yeah. So now we come back to here. How is purpose in the last month? Is it increased, decreased, or is it about the same? So there's where it was. This is where it is now.
Sorry, I couldn't tell. What am I looking? Can you just explain what I'm looking at?
Yeah. I'm just going to write down an idea. Last month's indicator. So what would be useful here that I've just innovated would be to have a marker to show you where you were on average, so you can see what the shift is. So what I did was just look here. See how from here to there, we're about 1/3 of the way.
Yeah.
And then when I looked here, I saw that we're about 2/3 of the way.
Yeah.
So we've increased. But it would be easier to have a marker here to say average, 6 months average. Yep. So we're improving in that space. So there's some initiatives possibly that's gone on, or maybe it was organic. So now who are the strength branch leaders for that area?
Yourself. Jamie.
So Jamie is for the last month, a contributor.
Yeah, and yourself.
And myself over time. So now we've got a strategy that we can start thinking up. It's like purpose is below aspiration target. Now we've got to decide what we want to do. Do we want to, what are our options in terms of the aspiration? What are the two options that we've got? If I want to close this gap.
As in like an item or an action that you would take, or what are you looking for?
So one of the options is we can take action and lead the culture to inspire activity in that space. Yeah. That's one option. What is the other option that we could do?
We could say that it's not I guess we can either take action or not take action. So we could decide that we've got other focus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's the two options you've got all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were going to pick something different, because we see it's here in history and we see, oh, we've tried some activities and we're seeing even this month, it's sort of heading in the direction we want to go.
So you look at other areas of focus that are higher on the list, I guess.
So where's another natural strength of ours popping out?
Courage.
Courage. We're on the mark with courage. Where are we above?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Hope.
Hope. Hope we're above the mark. Yep. Where else are we above the mark? Love.
And self-discipline.
And self-discipline. Right. So it's good to look at the opposites as well. So you can look across these areas, because if you look at love and compassion, for instance, so we had an aspiration here in compassion. What is it? Service. But we're spilling out on this side, yeah, which might be something to do with gratitude if we looked in that branch. So if you have a look at the last month, it's still there. It's consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might take an action to shift an aspiration from the compassion group, which is service, to something from the love group, right? So we'll put that in the strategy. We might shift service aspiration to something from the love group. Maybe gratitude. Yeah. Given what we do, gratitude might be fitting. Now, on the purpose side, we could have shifted it, but we might, in this case, agree to say, okay, let's just continue the strategy. We're seeing results coming, but maybe we'll tweak the specific word that we're looking for, not wonder, but we'll go for purposefulness directly. Yeah, so there's so many things that you could do in terms of leading the culture, but you now have the clarity for the first time. The group's activity is good, so there's no real action to take there, but that's mostly covered on the leadership strategy. This is really about the group. So then you just continue that activity for every group all the way through, and then you draft an overall strategy for the month.
Do you do anything specific on, like, obviously there's environmental factors as well. I guess they're just something you need to be very aware of when you're doing this analysis, thinking about, is there anything political that's happened? Is there anything, whatever that's happened? Obviously we've got a global pandemic. That's a huge phenomenon, but you know, you'd have to be very mindful, wouldn't you?
What do you think strain's going to do? Going to reveal your strengths or hide them?
So what going to do?
What is strain going to do on the culture? Reveal their strengths or hide them?
Reveal.
Yeah.
Reveal.
So in this context, I'm very carefully watching what happens to our culture under the strain.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to make adjustments, it'll be after this wave of COVID. I've just seen this growing and this growing.
You've got access to some amazing data during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Would you be looking at writing a paper or something on this, or doing something further than what you're doing?
I'm looking at getting someone to write a paper for me.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, right?
I'm not fond of writing papers myself. I'm a practitioner.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but yeah, papers tend to get headlines. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
suggestion. Thanks. So that's the group monthly reporting. I mean, it's simple and it's easy and it's super effective.
Mm.
Yes.
So we could put questions in like we did with the other ones, but I like just keeping it organic and reflective. Yeah, it's because there's a lot of contextual things to consider. There's no definites like the team culture engagement survey. There's very distinctive, definite things with the culture engagement survey, whereas this monthly reporting is like, well, what's going on in the culture? Who have we just recruited? Who have we just lost? What's happening with the ecosystem? What's the focus of our work? What's our revenue status? Like there's so many things, and they come up all the time. It's like, oh yeah, we're straining. We saw a couple of scenarios with cultures where this is the typical scenario where leaders' activity is above teams' activity. Yeah, that's a typical scenario. But we saw a couple of times, you can see it happening here, where the team's activity passes the leadership activity. And we've gone in 2 scenarios where that's happened. And we said, oh, what's happened here? One scenario, the executives are, oh, I think I know what happened there. There was a fight on the board and the team weren't meant to know, but they of course did know. And the team stepped up to support the leadership. Yeah. And then another time where we saw that happen, there was a loss of one of the leaders, had a death in the family. And you see all the team come behind and pick up the leadership. It's quite extraordinary. But the normal scenario is like the team is around about even or lagging the leaders. So.
And do you usually, Stephen, just set before, like you're going to be setting this like month to month for like a 12 months? Is it just like a predetermined?
Yeah, so this is subscription model. So once they subscribe, they get it every month. Comes out on the 5th of a month, the report to all of the people that are listed in the ad as a profile as admin or leader or owner.
For 12 months?
For 12 months, and then they can choose to renew the subscription or let it go.
Okay.
So it's very low cost, in our opinion, for the value it gives. $3,000 is the cost of one day consult, but you've got this for the whole year, giving you insight onto the culture.
Okay, but that 3,000 doesn't include reporting each month cost.
The 3,000 gives you the report every month. Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's the whole...
$250 a month per group is what the cost is on an annual subscription. So the cost of a mobile phone plan, essentially.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
So any questions on that before we wrap up for the day?
No, that was great.
No, it's great. I like the, I like this group internal activity, but I also like this group character profile, like the aspiration versus culture activity.
That's the most loved part of the reporting, this congruence radar chart.
Yeah, because I also like how we can look at the, how love is just, like where it's not inspired, but it's quite good, for the culture activity versus, compassion is not where they want to be.
Yeah.
So where you're building that strategy, it also helps.
Definitely.
To awareness.
You can use it in conjunction with the app. So say this was our month's report, I could go into that group. So there's the ShareTree team. Here's the tree. So it's like, okay, and I can see the running average for the last 3 months here in brackets as well. So I can say, okay, the love is 26 this month. Historically, and this is how you do it if you haven't got the reporting, historically it's 172. And that is pretty much high, but you've got to start interpreting it with your mind if you do it this way without the reporting. So it is still pretty strong, but we've got growth here on compassion now. So our personal strategy was to stick with service because it's one of the primaries of the group, and we led more in that space.
So in addition to what this report, they can also see it on the ShareTree, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this makes it
the group
still usable to those that can't afford it, but it doesn't go as deep as the reporting. The reporting is definitely a lot more effective, quicker, and pinpointed. Now, if I open the branch, so say I want to see, okay, if we're going to pick a character trait in love, let me see what's actually going on. And you can see, oh yeah, gratitude, enthusiasm, love, gratitude, appreciation, passion. So you start getting insights, passion about what types of things you might want to pick, given on what people are acknowledging to each other.
It would also show you that little chart if you'd launched some initiatives that weren't successful. So you'd focused on an area, yet the buy-in wasn't great. Would that be picked up?
Yeah, you would see that coming out in the pattern. So whatever your initiative is, if it's coupled with character, you'll see that it start to grow on your monthly reporting. So what's clearer to you now, and what are you grateful for in your discovery today? Let's finish with that.
Okay, can I say it verbally?
Yep.
Can I use this little thank you thing?
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. I'm really inspired by the incredible program that you've created and the depth that you've explained to us today. And it's given me inspiration to look at my plans for next year and how I might utilize this as something that is so meaningful that I could really form it, bring it into my life, that I can actually take the passion that I've got and share it with others.
Thank you. What's clearer to you now?
What's clearer?
Yeah.
Oh, Naz, sorry.
Oh no, for yourself, Michelle.
Oh, what's clearer?
After today.
My path. I've been thinking about what do I want? What's my dream job? What do I want to do? I've got these skills that I'm a great facilitator. I'm able to really draw people in, and I'm a great leader, I think. But I feel like in the HR space, I don't know what to do next with it. And in the teaching space, I don't know either. I feel like there's a change, there's a shift that's waiting. And today, yes, last week was great, but today's particularly been very thought-provoking about what my journey is. And I feel like I've got something to give to people, and I've never really known what it was.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Naz, how about yourself? What are you grateful for? What's clearer to you from after today?
So I'm very inspired by understanding the whole picture a little bit better, which kind of helps me with my thinking, how the dots connected. But also I'm very grateful that ShareTree just made me realize even one more time how much of a good decision I made with Blink Minds and following my purpose. So it's really just, something that makes me feel good and just be grateful, and understanding how my strength and my growth area will be even more clear in my mind to help others and have impact in their life. And I dream big, and that's why I have always the big picture. And the journey is very messy and it's fun and ups and downs. But the more I remind myself about the depth of the scientific work on ShareTree and how simplicity behind it, I think it's brilliant, as I said it on the first day. And I think my dreams and my goal is to reach out to thousands and thousands of people where I build that community and the group. I think one of the most inspiring idea that came to my mind while we were going through these slides, and I've seen a lot of reports, like from characteristic tests, like reporting, throughout my career in HR. Obviously DISC was, was our product, like at Wiley. But what this does is more personalize it and more, I guess, simplify and the most important thing, gives the results, that drives the results. Most of them just, lives it with the graphs, and and then the HR and organization and leaders do not know how to follow it, right? Especially with the DISC. Okay, this is your profile, this is your, motivator, this is your stressor. What do I do next? What do I do next after I leave this training? It's something that I would never be able to give to people and leaders. So this is exactly what it's giving, which makes it more unique. Like Michelle was saying, behind what you have built, I think it's amazing. And the groups, I'm very excited. My brain is just, like working behind the scene right now that you have no idea still. Michelle, I just need to stop it, for a second, and how those groups, will help people to not only impact in their life, but just really be able to have power to use the, like ShareTree. I will start probably for more individual and organization, and then move into companies to my power. But I know that I believe it will happen organically. Like when I mentioned about ShareTree to the young generation, like 3 or 4 of them, out of the camp, I have the agenda where I say, ShareTree, and then what they said? We want to meet with Steven, because the way that you explain about, ShareTree, we need to see his passion. And that's exactly how I wanted people to feel that purpose and passion. So I might need to, come and just talk for 15, 20 minutes, about how you develop this, and, moving into panel discussion, and just being as an example of how people can really inspire their journey with their skills and qualities, like you did, So yeah, they're like, it's like, I can talk about it, but I think Steven will be a great, speaker for that. What do you think, Naz? And these are like 24 years old, like people. I was like, that's exactly what I really believe. So they know you, they haven't met with you, but they know your passion and purpose. I think that's how it grows. And you build this, with gratitude, with passion, with all these, characteristic traits that, you and your team has. So I'm really grateful that maybe it's late for my time here, but you also spend a lot of time from your time, in your time zone to do that. So I really appreciate it for that. And it's so nice meeting you, Michelle. Everything happens for a reason. It is so lovely to meet you. I can't even describe it, how much of good personality you have yet, but I have it in back of my mind. I will send you a leaf.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
I just build in my brain. I don't just say it right away, but yeah, you have very powerful thoughts and passion. I always see myself a little bit, like in you, the more that you give examples about the leadership and how you want to do things and so on. But now I'm, I don't have a job. I just follow my passion, and obviously learn some second grade, math and reading, which I certainly need.
I think we share the passion. That's why we're all here.
Now you actually have a job that you want for the first time in your life.
Yeah, exactly. And it's and it comes with the gratitude, because it doesn't come with the revenue. I used to just think the opposite way, when people were just saying, oh my God, how can you just not be happy? And but it wasn't just about the happiness, it's just something else that I discovered. So I want to help people, like organizations that I'm thinking back of my mind. I know that it will grow because of the energy that you put in, and the people who are becoming culture practitioners, they have to have it, otherwise it doesn't succeed.
Where your energy goes, your thoughts and the money will flow.
Yeah, it always comes. And then like the funny thing is that it's not a funny, but it's a real, it's like money comes and goes, but the other part, it doesn't really come that easily. And the spiritual belief, I think it's very important in terms of gratitude, right? Because the chart that you show, that you said it comes naturally, like you just, like start appreciation and become like an expert on the gratitude. It doesn't really happen by writing on a journal every day and not believing in it. So it just takes time to come naturally. Obviously, I'm from, like a Mediterranean Sea, by grid. If you let me talk, I will talk another half an hour. So you better not like me. We have long hours of, like a dinner and so on. So we basically talk and have fun and all those things. I have difficult time with different cultures sometimes, like when I speak too long, but that's just me, sometimes I share. I share the energy.
I'm a chatterbox too.
I just appreciate you translating. It sounds like you're amplifying our enthusiasm as well.
I do, and that's part of like my enthusiasm. What was part of my characteristic on my personality test as well. But anyway, thank you so much. I will see you next Thursday.
Yep. So between now and then, keep the gratitude character growth exercise going. For yourself, Michelle, it's to complete the Charametrics assessment.
Yep, on it right now.
Yep. So next week we'll do a recap on what we just did to help it sink in again. Do Charametrics, the certification process, the program pricing, and then the deployment and support strategy. So it's really how do you put it into action going forward into the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve, for taking the time. It's amazing. And Naz, I think you're pretty special too.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Have a great evening and day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.